Welcome to the Wildcast Podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios, with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Oh, welcome back to the Wildcast Studios for our 200th episode of the Wildcast Podcast, your unofficial voice for all things Moncton Wildcats. As always, the fan listeners, first of all, thank you for joining us for 200 episodes. I am humbled by that. I'm your host, Adam Lund, and of course, I am joined by, your favorite co-hoster for those roughly 200 episodes, Mr. Jeremy Boucher. Buddy, it is good to be back in studio. How you been over these 2 weeks?
Very good.
3 weeks almost.
3 weeks, yeah. It's probably been around for 190.
I think about 190 of them, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm almost at my 200. And it just seems like just yesterday we were doing our first one together, and
Seems like just yesterday I met you.
Yes.
Friday before the Monday or the Tuesday when we recorded. Like, I'd never met you until we recorded, and here you are. 39 weeks a year, you're in my basement talking hockey.
I could say the same thing about my wife too. A couple weeks off during the year, no, it's so good to be back. It was a nice break. We had a chance to watch some world class hockey.
Yeah,
and that's just not the Wildcats. I don't know what the words.
I don't know.
But here is a
Swiss
song.
very catching. But it's very catching. You heard it in the intro, but we had to play it again. Hop Swiss, Swiss.
Much better than the American Goal song. That's just a organ.
It's basically a Boston Bruins song. Yeah, it's like a '90s. I actually thought it was the guy. Like, I thought it was Lyndon, the organist, playing the song. I didn't realize it was just a recording.
What
it
was sad goal.
Yeah,
song.
I was very, like, you went on the New Year's or the Boxing Day game to that one.
Yeah, I did against Latvia.
And I was like, "What's the goal song?" And you're like,
I was
this one.
Hoping for "Party in the USA" by Miley Cyrus, but I
missed it.
Greatly disappointed. But we were treated to some world-class hockey. I think I can speak for a lot of people when I say that. I think it was more of it's you grow up, you watch the World Juniors, and you never expect it coming to our part of the world, right? I know it was in Halifax, 20 years ago when
was Sydney,
but something like here in Moncton, we've never had anything like that. Nothing that's of that magnitude ever in terms of hockey ever come this way. And the fact that we didn't get to see Canada and in the round robin, I think we had the better group.
Well, we totally had the better
in terms
group.
of games and their competitiveness and their closeness. We were treated to some really good hockey, and the fact I got to go to 3 or 4 games and cheer for every team that played against the U.S. It was quite an experience. And here we are, we're back at the Avenir Center. It's back to Wildcats hockey, and it just seems like we were on a break for 3 weeks, but it just doesn't seem.
Doesn't feel like it was a hockey break because we were at the rink the whole time, and we went to the Boxing Day game because we found tickets. They were going for $60 a pop. We found them for $40. Someone was just reselling them, which you don't see often on the Ticketmaster there. And so we went to the first one, and sitting through the first one, we're just like, it was good that it happened to be Swiss. Like I said, we were going to be the podcast of the Swiss team, and I looked at Layla, and she looked at me, and we went, we maybe should have bought a package.
Yeah.
This is fun. And as we were leaving, I'm like, I'm glad we went once. I'm glad, I don't have the FOMO, the fear of missing out. Like, I got to go to a game. I'd been to one in Calgary way back, 2008, 2009. The Yakupov Russia year where Sweden won in the overtime. I went to the New Year's Eve one, so I went to that one. But yeah, I sat with thanks to Matthias Mueller for tickets for us, allowing us to sit with the Swiss fans. And it's just, if I can make one plea, and I've tried so much for fans, but it's more the Avenir Center. You said it. The fan involvement from other countries was going to be awesome. The Latvians, who were getting beat every game, they had one of the best fan groups. The Czechs had drums and flags. Like, if countries can bring that stuff in, why can't we? You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's It's just the fact that it's known for being a more of a festive environment at the World Juniors, and bringing drums in. I mean, it's not going to happen at the Wildcats game, but the World Juniors, you're so used to drums and stuff like that. And what are they called? The vazulas, not the blow things. Here I am doing
again.
Well, it's I forget, but they're obviously in soccer in Europe, they're popular, and I forget the name of them, but there's the Latvian fans were amazing. I remember going to that game on Boxing Day against the U.S., and I think there was one Latvian fan in the entire arena, and he just happened to catch a puck, and that was the loudest, aside from the 2 Latvian goals, maybe the loudest, the coolest moment that I saw during the entire tournament. When you're the only fan in the build, well, when we say fan, everybody was cheering for Latvia, but literally you've got a flag, he's got a jersey. You could tell he was passionate about his country and hockey, and for him to catch a puck was something else. Like, that was the cool.
You're right. Like, I think the only blowout was the States beating Switzerland 5-1. That was the only blowout. Latvia was in that game against the States after 40 minutes. I think it was 2-2. They just couldn't hold with them. The Swiss beat the Finns. They went to 3 overtime games, which we were there for Swiss and Slovakia in overtime, where Mueller scored. And I know how I am when my team in Canada is, but to see other countries living and dying on the shootout was it was a very cool experience. So thank you to Mr. Mueller for allowing us to sit with the Swiss fans. But yeah, we had the better group, and you nailed it before this thing even going. I was like, Canada, Swiss, Germany, Czech, and you said, look out for the Czechia. They beat Canada on Boxing Day. They almost got them in overtime. Well done to you, sir.
Well, you know what? They're just a country that, they hadn't won a medal in 20 years. And you just kind of I saw their forward group, and I was like, Jesus, this team's got something. And I that group just doesn't, I had a feeling that the Czechs had something this year. I don't know why I said it. I still don't know why I said it, but it was just a gut feeling.
Because you're not a guy that follows they had, 18 returning guys from the summer, which you kind of forget the tournament in the summer. Like, they beat the Americans in the quarterfinals. They lost in the semis, but they were a good team.
I didn't know anything about the Czechs. I just had a gut feeling that they were going to pose a threat, and they did. They beat them on Boxing Day and almost got them in the gold medal game. So it was, honestly, it was a heck of a tournament, heck of a 2 weeks. Hopefully it comes back around here, because by the sounds of it, it was a huge success.
Well, it was 94% sold out in Halifax, 74% sold out, which I think they said was a record for a non-Canadian group. I've been very vocal on our Twitter. If you're going to do it, CHL markets, junior hockey markets, make it just like the Memorial Cup. So in 2024, it goes to Sweden, Scandinavium, Canada, Sweden, Finland, Germany, and Latvia.
Tough
and in
group.
Group B in Frölindeburg, the Czechia, U.S., Slovakia, Switzerland, and Norway comes up because Austria was relegated. And then in 2025, I think it comes back to the States or Canada. So if it goes to the States, for me, it's Seattle. You got the T-Birds, you got the Kraken. If you want that NHL market, you're growing the game there. When it comes back to Canada, if the States get it in the WHL market, then when it comes to Canada, put it in the OHL. And just rotate it like the Memorial Cup and try to get it. Like, I think the coolest one, if you want NHL rinks like Hockey Canada does for ticket sales, and IHF, I'm sure, if you go Seattle and for the U.S. one, I think one of the cooler ones would be Ottawa and Gatineau. You got an NHL-sized rink, and you got the slush puppy for Group B. I think they should be putting a bid in if they could. But other than the World Juniors, like, how was your Christmas? It's good to see you still have a car. You still you still got some money. You spent every single dime on Christmas, updating me up until the last minute for it to be gone in what? 2 hours?
2 hours, man, like 30 minutes. It was good. Definitely some 11th hour shopping on. I remember I was still out there on Christmas Eve, getting some last minute stuff, and
I was on the 23rd getting stocking stuffers.
Yeah, and it's it got down to crunch time, but I got the job done, and you spend all that money just to see everything unwrapped within a half an hour, and it was. Then you just stuff your face, and then you're on a kind of a break, and now I'm doing dry January.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm doing dry January, so I'm 9 days without a drink.
Nice.
And hopefully I can make it the entire month. And Christmas was fun. New Year's was fun. I was actually impressed with.
So how was the downtown the atmosphere? Because Layla and I were gonna go, so we watched the Swiss game at noon, and then we got ready. Like, we showered. We had a nap. I had a nap. She didn't, because I'm old. I'm not gonna make it to midnight unless I have a nap. Came downstairs. She wasn't dressed or anything. Well, she was dressed, but she wasn't like dressed to go out. And I was like, "So what are we doing?" She's like, "I don't know. Let's watch the hockey game, see how we feel." Spoiler alert: we didn't go out on New Year's Eve, but I know you were there. You saw our director of hockey operations taking a small break. We'll get into that a little bit later. But how was it down there?
It was actually not bad. I would say there's probably a couple thousand people.
Yep.
Down for the band. And
did you watch the game there? Or did you go after?
No.
The game? No.
So we went. I was at Kelsey's until after the second period, and then I was like, shoot, if we should probably get down there to watch the third period. Well, by the time we found a place to park and got to that Veneer Center, the game was just ending.
Oh, okay.
And then you know what? It's after that, literally as soon as the horn went, the band started playing, and I was like, wow, okay, perfect timing. So I thought the band was playing on the stage on the Oval, but they had like the community stage set up on Main Street.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So they probably, like I said, a couple thousand people there. Pump House they were selling tall boy cans out of the back of a truck, and you could pay debit. It was perfect because if you went, people were asking on the City of Moncton Facebook page, was there a beer garden? And they kept saying no. So
of course,
no to a beer garden, but yes, you could have at least said Pump House will be on site, selling. Because I think that's what prevented more people from going down is they wanted to be able to drink.
Yeah.
But there was no beer garden, according to the City of Moncton, but there was, liquor, beer available for purchase. And no, we were there till midnight. I didn't see a ball drop or anything.
I thought they said there was going to be one, but maybe it was somewhere where you kind of were.
That's it. But as soon as there was no countdown clock or nothing, so you looked over, the band stopped playing at like 11:55, and then people started walking towards like the riverfront, and then boom, 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 fireworks start going off, and oh shoot, it's midnight. Let's make out with your wife.
Yeah.
So when
good to see you picked your wife.
Yeah. Well, a couple other options out there, but no, just kidding. Fireworks ended, and then I ran into Richie, and he said that he had been in the office at 9:00 that morning and was just leaving after midnight. Jesus. So that's a 15-hour day, and
it was worth it.
He still looked like he could go for another 10 hours, and he didn't look tired at all. And because I think if you love what you do, some days you just run on fumes and still get the job done. So that was that. New Year's was just different vibe to it this year.
Because we were allowed to do something.
Yeah.
Right?
If there wasn't a World Juniors, I probably would have been sitting at home and but the fact that there was the tournament was in town and you knew there'd be some people downtown and Main Street was closed off, and I'd love to see them do something like that every year. Because it would definitely bring. Because look, if anything helped the economy,
it was a World Juniors.
It's a World Juniors, and when you walk downtown Main Street and between, from after the 12:00 game to before the 5 p.m. game.
Yeah.
I mean, when there's a lineup around the corner at the subway, the downtown's pretty hopping because there's never a lineup at that subway. So that, if anything, this is really going to help. And they're talking like $45 million in economic spinoff, which is absolutely massive because, the holidays are always the slowest time for bars. So this is going to have a huge impact on not only the province, but the city and Nova Scotia as well, and Halifax. And, when when each of the two provinces contribute $1 million to the event and it ends up turning into $45 million, well, that's a pretty good ROI.
That's a pretty,
And you can't really complain there.
And it's not even just Halifax and Moncton, like you said. Like Austria played in Truro, and they had their stuff there, and Bucktouche had a game, and it was just, that's why you have to, we support these kids and fans support these kids throughout the season, and then when you actually get to see the world's best, you just got to keep it in junior hockey markets. It's not like our friend and contributor Dave McKnight said, it's just another tournament. I think it was him or it was Jamie, one of the two. It's just another tournament in Toronto or Montreal or Vancouver, but out in your actual markets, it's an actual tournament. We just stayed at home and watched Dick Clark's Rockin' Eve with bands I don't know anymore. I got no idea who they are. Waited till midnight, went to bed. Christmas was okay. I had, just the two of us. It was small. I won Christmas with the Switch. She had no idea that was coming.
There you go.
That felt good. But I think New Year's, Corey Arsenal said on the New Year's Eve, kind of the game before New Year's Eve against the Islanders, the Islanders in Moncton, let's do something together where it's a weekend set, or they play on New Year's Eve, and 1 year it's in Charlottetown, 1 year it's in Moncton. Kind of rotate it and have these games on the actual New Year's Eve game, because St. John had it. They were so good at marketing it properly, so fans knew when the game was, knew what was coming. Unbelievable job by Gabby and that whole team to promote that thing. But the building was sold out to see the Spice Girls. Now it was the world's longest. It was like it was like a Super Bowl for the 25-minute intermissions or whatever it was, which hopefully that doesn't happen all the time. But it's just, you can do so many cool things with a 2 p.m. Start time and families downtown, and just keep everybody down and spending money and making the city when it's usually a slower time. I continue to roll, and just because the World Juniors is over, it doesn't mean you shouldn't support these kids. And it's not just here in Moncton. Anywhere you go, this is the cheapest you're going to see these kids before they get to the next level. Before we move on, I do want to say some of the best names. Chaz Lucius, Team USA. I said to you before we started, I said to Layla, I'm like, does that not sound like a Will Ferrell character? Like, that just sounds like a Will Ferrell. Jimmy Snuggerud. What are some other ones on the States?
They have Rucker McGroarty.
Yep.
They had some.
Caden. There was some were some good names for
the USA. Did it pretty good there.
Strong finish. Brad Lambert.
Very, very Finnish.
yeah. Who is going back to the WHL.
Yeah.
There was one, his actual last name was Finland.
Yeah. Suomi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's some of the fun parts is just the names that you're not used to seeing and stuff like that. But I had to get that. Chaz Lucius just to me sounded like a Will Ferrell character, and it was awesome. All right, as always, don't forget you can follow us on our social medias: Twitter, Moncton Wildcast, Instagram, Wildcast Podcast, TikTok, Wildcast Podcast, and here on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Our quick question: the trade deadline's come and gone in the Q. We're starting to see it happen now in the O and the WHL. What are you more of a fan of? The way the Q does it with the futures, or the way the OHL does it with the no first-round picks can be traded? Or I guess the way the WHL goes, where a team goes, I want that guy, give me everything you got. And they go, yep, here we go. Like, I mean, for instance, the Blazers, they get Olin Zellweger, Ryan Hoffer. Kamloops gives up 4 players, three actual players, 1 prospect in 2007, a first in, basically every draft. I'm trying to read off
that's crazy.
The graphic here. 23, 24, 25, 26, a second in those years, a conditional second in one of those years, a 4th, a 5th, a 6th. Like, you're just seeing these trades come down. Like, and that's not even for Connor Bedard, which I don't think he's going to be traded. But Zach Ostapchuk, another Canadian gold medalist, goes to Winnipeg for 3 first-round picks. And then you've got the OHL where they don't trade first-round picks. So all of their trades, they may have like 7 picks going back, but it's all 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. So
yeah.
What are you more of a fan of?
Honestly, I love the OHL way. I think every team should be able to get a first-round pick. It's the futures thing, whatever. It's but I like the way the OHL does it. I would like to see every team get a first-round pick, because really that's, for these teams that
go all in,
they've got, and don't win, they've got no consolation prize. and they're not picking until 3rd round, 4th round sometimes.
Yeah.
This allows them to, have something to maybe build the rebuild around. And I've always liked the way the OHL does it. But again, it's one of those things. The Q will probably never change.
No.
The futures I'm not a big fan of. Because if you're a player and you're not notified, you're probably wondering in the second half, oh, is it me? But you also kind of have an idea, it's probably me. Because I know when Leroux and Desnoyers got traded, they knew. They knew well before.
Oh, did they?
They knew for a while.
Okay.
So
I always assume they know.
Yeah.
I would hope.
When you have a guy like John Torchetti who doesn't mind telling these players before, I mean, it's I like the OHL. I mean, trading 10 assets for 2 players is a little ridiculous, and people are talking about that trade. That's one of the craziest trades or returns I've ever seen.
Yeah, and look, Kamloops is hosting the Memorial Cup, so that's
prices
why they're
going to be better. Yeah, but I mean, come on.
But still, like, that's not even Connor Bedard, and I don't think he's going to get traded before the deadline. Because in the WHL, 16 and 17-year-olds have to ask for a trade before they're dealt, and he reportedly hasn't asked for one. As well, I don't think the Pats want to trade him because they want that recruiting of, with the first pick in the NHL entry draft, the Arizona Coyotes select Connor Bedard from Regina, from the Regina Pats, just like, you know, they wanted Barbashev to be from the Moncton Wildcats, right? Like, teams want those players that are drafted, especially the guys like Connor Bedard and the guys they draft and invest in. They want him to be on that team, not, he was here for 3 years, but we traded him and, proud to select from the Kamloops Blazers, right? Like, that's what they want. I think I kind of want a mix of all of it, and I don't know how you do it, and I'm surprised that the 3 CHL leagues aren't kind of a trade deadline aligned. So you kind of, it's all the same weekend. I hate the fact that it's over Christmas. I wish that the deadline was like the OHL and the WHL right now, like coming into even the 1st of February. You get 2 months of those guys, and I understand with schooling it might be different. You want those kids to have the most school and play with your team for a few months, but I hate that it's over Christmas. So even if you moved it back a couple weeks, but I wish it was all aligned. All 3 leagues had trade deadline at the same time, and I think I like the way that the Q does it, where you got your futures, because we got that half a year until things went south, getting to see Desnoyers and Leroux, which helps your team win. And I think, like Dave McKnight said on Twitter, that's how the Q has been winning so far, because those young guys that are contributing, you look at the OHL, Porter Marone from the Sting and Jack Van Vlassen, they're Peterborough, they're on their way to Mississauga, who's probably going to be good in a few years. They're helping their teams right now, and they're shipped off. So I think I like the way the Q does it, so we get to see those young kids make impacts for at least a year,
right,
without shipping those 2 off. Like, we would have only seen Leroux for a half a season. Like, that kind of would have sucked, right? At least we got a full year out of them. But I think the CHL should kind of align themselves. So all 3 leagues at the same time, the same weekend or whatever.
Well, I don't. Well, I doubt there will be any changes.
No, absolutely not.
One thing I'd like to see interleague trading.
Oh, could you imagine? That's like
Connor Bedard traded to the Halifax Mooseheads.
He'd be going to the Halifax Moosehead 100%.
No, that's another thing that'll never happen. But it's funny. I think Aiden kind of pointed it out, where there was a player who
Brassard.
Yeah, so he signed with Sudbury.
Yep.
And a player from Sudbury signed with Drummondville.
Yeah.
So he's kind of he played it on Twitter as being the first ever CHL interleague trade, but obviously it's not. It's just a coincidence, I think.
The ops of it look.
Yeah, but I mean, that would be something I'd love to see some days, just because you see it in Junior A.
Yeah.
Right. You see like, so and so from the Flin Flom Bombers has been traded to the Summerside Western Capitals for future considerations. It's like,
what's the guy we had on the show from the Rumsey?
Yeah.
Didn't he go from like Campbellton out to Estevan?
Yeah, he did.
Somehow like that.
Yeah.
So then they.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, what are you going to do for future considerations? It's like Summerside. Oh, well, we got this guy who wants to go to the Flin Flon Community College and study plumbing. It's like, okay, here's your future considerations.
Yeah.
Here's Jimmy Bill Bob Smith from Skinner's Pond PEI wants to go be a plumber, going to go to Flin Flon College
Hey,
and
good on him.
play for the Bombers.
Yeah.
That's you'd never see something like that, but
Man, it would be fun though.
it would be extremely, extremely funny to see something like that ever happen in the CHL, but it will never do that.
No. All right. Speaking of trades, let's get to the news and notes from around the queue.
News and notes from around the queue.
So the trade deadline has come and gone, and that's kind of why we took an extended break, because we're going to come back next week, and there was only 2 Wildcat trades, and then our show would have dropped on Wednesday, and the trade for Connor Trenholm went down Tuesday night, so we wouldn't have been able to talk about it. So we kind of wanted to wait till everything was done. The World Juniors would have been done. Before we get to the Wildcats, the final day, as compared to obviously last year, with the Memorial Cup being in town or in the queue, it just kind of was bleh. I think everyone was waiting for Riley Kidney, and he was finally dealt to Gatineau. And that was the big one that everybody was waiting for. But other than that, there wasn't a whole lot going on that final day.
Nope, it was pretty light. Obviously everybody saw the Kidney trade coming. It's a little surprising they waited so long to trade him. Wonder if there's a reason for that. That's kind of not known, because I think they probably would have got a little more if they traded him earlier. So I'm not sure if there was some sort of a holdup that made them wait until the last day, but not sure about. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. But yeah, definitely not a very dramatic final trade period. You saw some ones trickle in there and towards the last couple of hours, but nothing that really made me jump out of my seat or anything like that. You knew these players were being traded. I remember sitting in the Moncton Hospital when the Dow trade went down, and I was like, wait, well, what?
Wait, why were you in the hospital?
Oh,
Megan stuff or Avery stuff?
last year?
Yeah.
I don't know. I forget.
That's a good thing. It wasn't that. Was nothing that was major.
No.
We're okay
it
there.
was,
All right.
it was. I forget what it was. Probably a Megan thing.
Yeah.
But nothing that caught me off guard. Nothing that shocked me. Everything was predictable. Everything really. The players I expected to get traded got traded.
Yeah. Some of the destinations I didn't expect. Mm-hmm. Bradley Kidney, I thought for sure was going to get to Halifax somehow. Thankfully, he's out of the division.
Yes.
We got what we wanted. LaPena, out of the division.
You're gone.
Melanson,
You're gone.
out of the division. What does he do? 6 points in 3 games. I'm like, enjoy that.
He might actually win the goal scoring title. Like he's
up there.
It's crazy because he's got Justin Gill as his teammate, and Justin Gill has,
I
think leads the. So it's two teammates are going to be the
It'll
ones.
be a four person race on 2 teams with the Halifax guys and the Sherbrooke guys.
It's crazy.
I felt okay with Gatineau. When I picked them earlier in the year, I said they got to go get a goaltender. I feel better going to get LaPena. Cam McDonald. Moving Maddox Landry was probably kind of tough there when you're moving your captain.
Moving your captain, moving your coach's son.
Yeah.
It's... But
they had a lot of offense. They couldn't afford to move defensemen, and that's I think where they
had to get rid of a 20 to make room for their goalie.
Yeah,
and so Maddox Landry is kind of that odd man out.
You surprised that Halifax didn't make a goaltender or defenseman move?
Very surprised. I think I don't want to eat my words when I say this, but I think they'll get out of the first round pretty easily. But I think they could have trouble in the second round, which, I mean, for all very, very well could be a Moncton Halifax, second round matchup, but
could be Halifax Rimouski too.
Yeah, that's true. But I honest to God, I think they're gonna be in trouble.
I think that was more because they're all in years next year, so I don't think they wanted to go
next year, dude. They're all in this year. Like
do they have nothing left?
No.
Oh yeah, they sure don't. Never mind.
I mean.
I just assumed when they didn't go get a defenseman and a goaltender, they weren't really pushing the chips in all in. But
dude, like they're probably going to do what Val-d'Or did this year and try to win as many games in the first half, and then they're going to go and trade Dumais. They're going to go and trade Vidicek. they're going to go and trade, get as much as they can.
Yes, yeah.
Right? Because they got to flip it around. As soon as they went out and got the Doucette,
yeah,
they were all in.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like that's
I hadn't looked at their picks, so I thought, well, they didn't go get a goaltender and a defenseman, which we kind of said was maybe more them going all in. But I guess
they
outscore the problems. I guess
they didn't need to go get Doucette. Like their top 6 was already fine. Like to the point where they've moved Evan Boucher down to the third line, right? Like, and they didn't need to go get Doucette. They should have used those assets on a goaltender like a William Blackburn, who could have been back next year.
Yeah,
and then you maybe flip them and recuperate some assets. You go and get maybe a 20-year-old defenseman like a Biaka Batuka from Charlottetown, but they didn't do that, and it's it's puzzling. I honest to God think they're in trouble once they get to the round 2 because they've got a great, like their forward group looks great, but their defensive depth does not look very good at all. Like, and their goaltending is questionable. Like you can have Mathis Russo can have a good game
or a bad game.
He can also have a bad game.
Yeah.
And do you trust Brady James if Mathis Russo gets hurt?
Yeah.
No, you don't. Like
No.
it's. I'm not saying that because I dislike the Mooseheads. I'm saying that because honest to God, think they're in trouble. And once they hit round 2, and if they make it out of round 2, there's no chance they're making it out of round 3.
No.
Like they're in trouble, and it's. Look, I'm not a GM here, but they definitely should have focused more on their back end and their goaltending before they addressed, getting Josh Lawrence. Fine, okay, good pickup, but
maybe split some of those assets and get a defenseman and
yep, and it's
a goaltender instead of going out and getting Doucette. But
I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. But I'm not gonna be betting money on them.
No, so the Videotron team of the week. We're not going to go to each week we missed because, I don't want to go back that far. The aforementioned Jacob Melanson, 3 games, 5 goals, 2 assists. Enjoy him in that division. Samuel Savoie of Gatineau, 3 games, 3 goals, 3 assists. Zach Bolduc, 3 games, 6 goals, 1 assist. Marc-Andre Gaudette from Sherbrooke, 3 games, 2 goals, 4 assists. Xavier Dagg from the Eagles, 3 games, no goals, 5 assists. And the goaltender, Jacob Steinman of your Moncton Wildcats, 2-0, a .948 save percentage, and a 1.5 goals against average. Your player of the week was Zach Bolduc, and I believe we actually had a couple Wildcats in the players of the month for
Etienne
December.
Morin, I think.
Etienne Morin, yeah.
Number 5.
So forward of the month was LaRue. Honorable mention was Bolduc. Defenseman of the month, Etienne Morin, 11 games, 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 points. Defenseman of the month, player of the week, team of the week, Wildcat of the week, Kubota
top prospects
invite. Like, he just had a month. He's on. I mean, we'll get to him in a little bit. Honorable mention, Edouard Corrier from the Huskies. Goaltender of the month, Ty Austin of Gatineau and Charlottetown. And honorable mention to Patrick Harmla of Rimouski. Rookie of the month, Jan Sparta. And honorable mention to Jacob Steinman in December, 3-2, 2.47 goals against average, and a .916 save percentage, which brings us now to the Wildcast Podcast Boucher Team of the Week.
That is right. So prior to our Christmas break, we did the Pack Your Shit Team of the Week.
Yep.
So this would be the Edition 2 of Pack Your Shit.
Second edition. Learning French over here. Learning French.
This is the after Christmas break freeze transactions, the players who I think will benefit their new organizations the most. I'm going to finish with my goalie because I believe it's going to be breaking news. But up front, I'm going to start with Jakub Brabenec, who's, of course, going from Charlottetown to Sherbrooke.
Silver medalist. Yep.
Silver medalist. He's joining a Sherbrooke team that looks really good. They made the right. They're the team that I'm saying made the right moves. Okay. So that's my. I'm not saying they're going to win the Q. I'm saying they made the right moves. Riley Kidney, of course, in Bathurst, Gatineau. Like you said earlier, very happy he's out of the division.
Yes.
Extremely happy he's out of the division, and the other guy too. And I'm actually going to go with Connor Trenum.
Oh, okay.
For my third forward, because if you read the message board, you've seen that some people are not a big fan of this acquisition, and I'm saying it's going to be a very beneficial acquisition. We've already seen the benefits of it. Yep. You wanted him for
a year now.
Yep. So he's finally here.
To those who don't know, he was the player last year that we were like, he's going to the Memorial Cup. He's on a team in blue. That was the guy.
Yes. Yep. And yeah, like Richie said in their trade period recap, he wants him to play like Jacob Hudson. And if he plays like Jacob Hudson, he's going to be making a lot of those people on the message board eat their words. Let's put it that way. On defense, I'm going to go with obviously Braden Schmidt, a player I think I've mentioned that I liked him on a couple of occasions.
Like you said, a player that Jeremy liked on a couple of occasions. Actually, you talked to Cedric Bourdin about him.
I did. And
so close.
Let's just say I'm glad we didn't pay the price that Cape Breton did to get him.
Yeah.
Which was an astronomical price. And I will say, of all the trades during the trade period, this would be the only gross overpayment.
Second and 23, first and 24, second and 24, second and 25.
Yes. So I would put this as one of those gross overpayments. Was that 4 picks or 5 picks?
4 picks.
I would have paid maybe 3 for him.
Yeah.
I would have paid,
because I can't see a future in that.
I wouldn't have paid a first for him. I would have said, okay, maybe 3 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think that's.
I mean, you're basically moving your captain out, bringing a captain in. He'll probably be the captain of the team.
Yeah.
You look at Cape Breton in their trade; they basically got anybody that's hometown said NS.
Well, it's
they're bringing in players from the market to bring up ticket sales, so people go see their guys, right?
If it's a player, like I think Braden Schmidt's an exception.
Yeah.
But it's Sylvain Couturier bringing in like what did the sloppy seconds from Bathurst, like it's
he's bringing in his guys.
He's bringing in his guys.
Yeah.
I made a joke with Johnny. Well, when are they going to trade for Kidney? When's Cape Breton going to trade for Kidney?
We got Johnny Rocket on Kidney. Who was it Melanson to Moncton or was it Kidney to Moncton?
I got him on Melanson to Moncton.
And I was talking to a friend of the show, Andrew Barrington, that Kidney was like, once the prices came and it was like near the end of it, I'm like, it's going to be Moncton. Well, what sources?
Me. Literally me.
And he's like, I told you he wasn't going there. I was like, I knew he wasn't going
kidding.
There. Like, it's fun to get the rumors going.
Yeah. No, I'm glad I didn't pay that price. Yep. And second D is Frederic Brunet from Rimouski to Victoriaville. He's going to be a big piece on their back end this year and obviously next season as well. And they paid I would say a good price. They paid a fair price. Now my goalie. Now, like I said, this could very well be breaking news. So if we were live, this would be breaking news.
Right.
But by the time this show comes out on Wednesday, it'll probably be already announced.
You hope.
So when we beat Charlottetown on Sunday, they ended up releasing Ty Austin because we beat them because he lost that game. So Ty Austin is no longer with the Islanders.
What?
They have released him and picked up Jacob Robillard, who was the 20-year-old goaltender for Sherbrooke in the first half. So if you look at the Charlottetown roster, Ty Austin's no longer there.
What?
Because we apparently got to Jim Halton to the point where he decided to release him and pick up a goalie on waivers.
We beat them both times.
Yeah. So I don't know. So they're running with Grimey, whatever his name is.
Grimes.
Grimey. And
Jacob Grimes and
Jacob Robillard. So my pack your shit goaltender of the week is Jacob Robillard, who is now a member of the Charlottetown Islanders. So those are breaking news that will likely not be breaking when you listen to this show, but I think he's because I didn't have much to work with. I could have went with Philip Cloutier, who won from Quebec to Val d'Or or the other way
Could have went
around.
with Herdebees, who just said, F
See ya.
them picks, I'm out.
I'm going to play for the Cobras.
Yeah.
But I you know what? I'm going to go with this one. And so there you go. Jacob Robillard. Jacob with a K. We like Jacobs with Ks
We do.
in their names.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So we made the Islanders tell Ty Austin to pack a shit.
Well done.
So there's just pack the shit team of the week.
Alrighty, let's get into the weekly rewind.
Weekly Rewind.
All right, welcome to the weekly rewind presented by brand new sponsor. Oh, you didn't hit the mute button. You didn't turn your sound on.
Yes, I did. Now I did.
There you go. Brand new sponsor, the local sports pub. Looking for a great place to have some wing beers and watch the sports. We went there for the gold medal game. It's where the Salty Sea Dog used to be on 1715 Main Street. They've redone the whole thing, and they put on a brand new deck on there for the summer. They're starting their NFL playoff pick'em pool. Just head to their IG page, the local sports pub, and enter. They'll have the prizes announced later on, but thanks to Eric and everyone at the local sports pub for jumping on the second half. It could be a destination where we do some of our playoff viewing parties into the playoff games. Well, it's been a while since we recapped some games here, so we're gonna go through all 6 period by period, game by game. Oh, good, you're still here. All right. No, we're
Please
gonna
no.
no, we're not at all.
Can we just do the last two, please?
Well, we're gonna kind of. They went 5-1 in the past 6 over the holiday break, including 5 in a row. They've won 3 in a row in 2023, undefeated already, bringing the record to 21-14-0-2, 44 points. Second in the Maritimes, 4th in the conference. I mean, just looking back at the last 2, the last 6, whatever. We asked them to be real, get real, and I believe we've kind of seen them be real. I think this is the team that we expected to see, and look, it helps that we've played Cape Breton, Charlotte. Well, I won't say Cape Breton because up until Wednesday last week we hadn't beat them yet. But we're playing Charlottetown, St. John, Charlottetown twice, which apparently allowed them to release their goaltender. But we're playing the division games, which we're 15-7 now in the division. We had Rimouski on Friday, and I thought that was going to be a big one. And like you said, they played really well. Their second periods in both Cape Breton and Rimouski were exactly what I want to see from the team, and that is they're concentrating on playing better second periods.
Can I talk about the first period of that Rimouski game for a second?
Sure.
I don't know what the problem was, but man, the bakery was open that night. The bakery was open for that first 20 seconds, man. They were cooking up some turnovers. I counted in the first period alone 11 turnovers, and
9 of them probably came in the second.
6 or 7 turned into either. Well, there was only one goal they scored, which was. Well, I don't know, call it a turnover, but it wasn't a defensive turnover.
Mm-hmm.
But any turnover in their own end led to a quality scoring opportunity. And Steinman bailed them out big time.
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe that was just me. You know, we just finished watching the World Juniors. You know, we were watching world-class junior hockey players, and then you go back and watch the Wildcats. Maybe I'm just being a little difficult on them, but some of them were a little obvious.
Yeah.
You know,
it was the first game back after a road trip, and they've had 9 of. And when I say road trip, it's not like they were gone for 3 weeks. Like they come home almost every night. But that first game after a road trip is definitely tough, and who knows what the ice conditions were, because they were pretty tough in the World Juniors with the ice on top of the ice. But after that 11 turnovers or whatever, 14,
it was fine. They progressively got better during the game.
Exactly. The second period, they outshot 12-5 and scored 2 goals, which it's been a while since they've done that, and that's what we're asking for from this hockey club.
Yeah, so they got better as the game went on, and you know, in their post game recap, you know, Dan Lacroix said the same thing. But you know, just the soft plays off the wall, or you know, you're passing the puck up in the middle of the ice, you know, as a defenseman, and you know, just the soft plays on the wall are the same reason why the Czech Republic tied up the game, the gold medal game. Like Like, that's Brant Clark. Don't know what you're doing, buddy. And I forget what the other guy's name was, but they literally just trying to backhand it off the glass and out. You're not going to backhand a puck out of the zone.
No.
Off the ice. It needs to be hard, and like they need to play harder in their own end, and it's just yeah, they got better. I'm not going to sit here and complain. Because
they played 50 minutes and it was the last 10 in the first period.
Yeah,
and then the rest of the way and even into Charlottetown, which was kind of a bleh game, which is a trap game 100%. They got another one this week because the Islanders game was scheduled between Rimouski and Quebec. Now they got Bathurst on Friday between Quebec and Halifax. I mean, some of the pull out the old stats here in this 6-game set and 5-game winning streak. They're 30% on the power play, and they got a 92% penalty kill. Like, it's
if you can keep those numbers
up,
exactly. There's going to be
because they're 11th in the league in penalty power play at 20%, 7th at 80%, which I think they were a lot lower before the streak. And that 92% stat was brought to you by Richard Morin, Etienne Morin's dad.
Okay, nice.
On Twitter, he sent
Mr.
that
Morin.
to us. Yep.
The real Mr. Morin, not the guy that Marty calls Mr. Morin.
And they're averaging 36 shots a game in this 5-game winning streak. 30, 46, 46, 29, and 30. So they're getting pucks to the net. And I think that's been a big bone of contention is play well defensively and on the penalty kill. And the biggest thing you're going into Wednesday, do not take 8 penalties like you did against Cape Breton, 7 like you did against Charlottetown, 5 like you did against Charlottetown early just before
or
New
turn
Year's
the puck
Eve.
over.
Or turn the puck over because you do that and she's going to be done
over
early.
Yes, absolutely. That's my only concern. People will say that we complain a lot about the team, and you know what? I think we're allowed to complain about the team.
Do they just want fluff? Like there's nothing wrong
that's
with them?
it. Until the Wildcats are paying us, to put on the show, we're gonna critique the team as much as we can. And
we're not I don't think we're doing it any
no,
more than anybody.
We're giving constructive feedback, and it's like we're giving our personal opinions here. And people will say that we're being too tough on the team. Well, you go and watch that first period of the Rimouski game, and you count the number of turnovers.
Yep.
Right? I'm not going to sit here and say they played well. They played well in the second and third period. They played absolute crap in the first period, and they were lucky to come out of that first period with only giving up 1 goal, because I think they finally got the message what I said a month ago about who needs to be the number 1 goalie.
Yeah,
and I will say that Filion has played well recently.
He's won 3 of his last 4.
He's also kind of maybe taken advantage of the opponents, right? Like I'm not gonna say that he should start against Quebec. He shouldn't start against Quebec.
No, they've got it set up now where Steinman's going to go against Quebec. He's going to go against Bathurst, and Steinman's going to go against Halifax. Which is just fine if that's what Filion needs to get his
confidence back
up. Because at some point, Steinman might not be what he's been.
Yep.
Player of the month and team of the week. Like he might have a down week, and you're going to need Filion to step up, maybe against Chicoutimi or maybe against Sherbrooke next month.
And that goes back to
exactly
on the road what I talk about Halifax not upgrading their goaltending.
Yeah.
You know what? If Rousseau gets into a piss spell, I don't know what other way to say it. Is Brady James who you want to have a net to take over? No, like it's there's obviously like they've got this schedule figured out, which I'm glad. I was happy to see it's time to get 3 consecutive starts, 2 or 3?
3, I think.
3 straight. So
yeah,
they're obviously finally seeing that he's playing better and awarding him. But I think the way they got it set up right now, where it's maybe Steinman gets Quebec and then Filion gets Bathurst and Steinman gets Halifax. That's a good start.
Yep, and then Filion would go back against Charlottetown. You can't have him sit. You can't have Steinman go for 8 or 9 straight, because then you're just going to get into Filion having some trouble. I mean, before we look ahead kind of the second half, you're looking back on the first half. Up until now, leading after 20, they're 12-5. Leading after 40, they're 15-1 on the year. So if they get up after 40, that's generally a good sign. Trailing after 23-7, trailing after 42-8. Home, they're undefeated when leading after 40. They're 8-0,
Wow.
7-2 after 20. Gets a little dicey. 1-1, 2-3 after 20 and 40, respectively. It's on the road. They're 7-1 when leading after 40, but they're 0-5 and 2-6 when they trail after 20 and 40. So it's, for as negative as people think we are, I mean, when they can control the game and control the lead and whatnot, they're 7-3 in 1-goal games as well, and they're 9-3 when they're got a 3-goal lead. Yeah.
Some of these stats I just don't believe. I know it's true.
Pull them right off the lead. Yeah,
I know it's true, but it just doesn't. They just don't seem realistic.
No. Because I think you kind of forget the leads they have like a month and a half ago, right? You forget the leads. Looking in the second half, we'll talk about the trades. I mean, they brought in Oscar Plandowski for a 6th and a 2025 second rounder. Pavin was dealt, which then was reversed because he's going to go into retirement. So good luck in your future endeavors there, Pavan. It was an honor to watch you play for a couple of years. Connor Trenholm was the big acquisition, a 2nd in 2023 and a 2nd in 2025. So you look at that trade last year. It was 6th and 7th, became the 2nd in 2025, which went back to St. John at some point. So maybe that was the long-term plan on that deal.
No,
maybe
I think
it was
a
fresh deal. It could have been
like
2.
It seems like it kind of adds up to it.
Adds up. And then Nathan Casey was sent to St. John for a 7th rounder in 2025, which kind of just allows him to play at home. He wasn't getting a spot here. I mean, this lineup's tough enough to crack when Mercier is on your 4th line. So when he was coming back, it was going to be tough. Trenholm, Plandowski, they kind of look like your 20-year-olds along with Danielle next year.
Well, that's what it looks like. I mean, there's that odd chance that Barbashev is back, but at the same time, technically a 20-year-old Euro is 2 roster spots.
Yeah.
And as good as he's been lately, he's on a goal-scoring...
Yep. League leading.
Yep.
Get into that in a little bit. Spoiler alert.
So Tuesday of last week, whenever that was, the 2nd.
Yep. 3rd.
At that, as of Tuesday of last week, there had been no offers for Barbashev. And apparently, there was one that came in late on the deadline, and they just couldn't come to an agreement. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, do you want those assets for Barbashev, or would you rather have him on your team in the second half and the playoffs? Come to think of it, I probably want to have him on my roster.
Yeah. Sometimes the best trade you make is the one you don't make.
Yeah.
And I think he's turning out to be that deal.
Finally starting to go. He's getting into a groove here.
Yeah.
He's playing with the players he should be playing with. He's scoring every game now by the seams of it. So I'm glad he's still around. And yeah, the Nathan Casey deal. It's just I'm assuming he's healthy.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's going to St. John, even though he wasn't on their roster this past weekend. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe even just a protected list acquisition kind of thing. But no, the Plandowski trade is pretty hard pressed to find a player who, I guess, he wanted out of Drummondville. No, I wouldn't say he wanted out of Drummondville. It was a move that you knew was going to happen because they were getting Lamoureux back and I think somebody else, and he was dropping down the depth chart, and same thing with Lane Hinckley, and so those two became available. And Connor Trenholm's a player that Richie said he wanted to draft when he was in his draft year, and
tried to acquire him a couple times.
That's it, and it just never happened. And so you kind of got two players that the GM has liked for many years, and they seem to be fitting in well. Not a great debut for Plandowski, -3. There's me complaining again.
But he made up for it
Yeah.
by scoring against St. John.
That's
St.
it.
John, yeah.
And a nice goal too.
Yep.
Like I like that he's playing on his offside. I like that as well. And so him and Trenum and Daniel, I like that they've kind of made the moves for their 20-year-olds next season already. Like, so you're not moving around to the draft to try to get this player or try to get this player.
Where prices are a little bit high because teams know you want to get a
So
a 20.
you've kind of got your set. You've got your 20-year-old set for next year. You can more or less pencil them in the lineup. You're bringing your captain back. You've got a big smooth skating right shot defenseman. You've got a 200-foot center that can win key face-offs. I don't think you want more than that out of 20-year-olds. And from that point, it's just a matter of, who's going to replace LaBelle, who's going to replace Baudouin, and who's going to replace Barbashev.
Yeah.
It's three.
Well, I think you're hoping that
Mercier takes that step.
Yeah, you're hoping that Trenholm replaces Baudouin's kind of leadership
Mm-hmm.
because what they brought in from the start of the year to now is playoff experience.
Yep,
and
that's it.
Like Baudouin won a President's Cup, Trenholm won a Memorial Cup. Say what you will about only playing winning 5 games in the playoffs.
Okay.
That was pretty big 5 games, and he was a third line guy or fourth line guy, but he was still there in that locker room. Plandowski, I think he went to the 3rd round against Victoriaville. Yeah, because
he was in Charlottetown last year.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He was in Charlottetown.
So he made it to the finals last year.
Yeah,
because they lost to Victo.
Right, and the year before he made it to the 3rd round against
whoever it was.
They lost to Shawinigan last year in the finals.
Yes,
the year before was Victo.
Yeah.
So he's got some playoff experience. So that's what you're bringing in to bring this young crew ahead because they've had one technical playoff series and a 3-game series because of a shortened season. So they haven't had an actual playoff grind. And, the goal of this hockey club in the second half, I think, don't worry about the division. Get the 3rd seed.
Yeah.
Get that 3rd seed so you have a chance at Halifax. And like I said on one of the lives, right now we're 3-1 against Halifax because, of course, we are when we're 1-4 against Cape Breton.
Yeah,
but
makes sense.
We're 3-1 against Halifax, so we've had good matchups against them. Now, we play them 5 times. We could end up being 3-8 against them by the end of the season, and we don't want to touch them in the playoffs. But the way they didn't upgrade the goaltending in the back end, you feel like you've got a better chance against them than getting swept by Quebec as the 4 seed. So your goal should be the 3rd seed, which you're 4 points behind Rimouski right now. And I like what they brought in. They didn't move Barbashev, which I think is going to turn out really well. And the lineup that they have with Lounsbury up on that top line as a left winger and Barbashev down on the 3rd with Tybell and Daniel, that 3rd line gives you speed, gives you truculence, as Brian Burke says, and it gives you a little bit of offense, which they haven't had. They have 3 depth lines that they can roll at any point against anyone right now, and you saw that especially against Rimouski.
And you saw with the 4th line, the 4th line had some quality scoring opportunities, and when you add Mueller to that line, which I have absolutely nothing wrong with Mueller playing on the 4th line.
Nope.
I think I said that in the preseason. Having Daniel on the 4th line to bring that veteran experience, but now you got Mueller there, who's it's his speed. He's got the speed. He's got the speed. He's got the speed and the skill. That's just going to help Gabe Smith along because at one point, really you got to get. There's going to be a moment here where Mueller's going to have a puck and he's going to go wide on the left side, skate around the net, and Gabe Smith's just going to be there. The
old Lucic tap in.
He's just going to be in front of the net.
Yep.
And it's setting up that way where it's the same thing with Mercier. Mercier has that speed where he can go down the right wing, go to do a little turn around the net, and Gabe Smith's just going to be there in front of that. Just tap it in. Just tap it in. And it's the fact that they've got those 2 guys on the wings, and you've got Gabe Smith that's just a 6'4" lanky dude who hopefully gets up to 215 pounds when he's 18.
But he's come so far from the start of the year where, and I don't know if maybe he had a growth spurt in the off season.
Yeah, that kind of held back his skating a little bit, but he's finally getting it. And there's going to be times where I swear to God, those 2 are either going to be Mueller's going to be going down the left. He's going to escape behind the net, and Gabe Smith's just going to be, hey, pass it here, man. Or Mirasay is going to go around the net. Hey, pass it here, man.
Yeah.
You know?
But what they have, you look at the lineup from like the last game against Charlottetown, they've got scoring, speed, and physicality on all 4 lines with Lounsbury, LaBelle, and Baudouin. There's your skill, your whatever. Loshing, Trenholm, Auger, Barbashev, Tybell, Danielle, and then that 4th line. Like every line has what you want where they can play any way you want.
Yeah.
And I mean, it sucks that we're not going to have Marcel for the Quebec game, but this is a group, and this is going to sound very homerish, but I think lines up well with the group we have, lines up well against Quebec. They've got all 4 lines that line up well. Now, every lineup is a good lineup on paper, and they have to play like they can. But the way that the lines are right now, and people look at that and be like, "Well, Barbashev's got a 9-game goal streak. Why is he on the 3rd line?" Because he's had success with and he's had success with Tybell. I think last year they had success in the second half as the 2 of them. So Tybell and Mueller are just going to be better coming back from the World Juniors. You get that little World Junior bump. It's a good forward group that's got depth in it, and that's exactly what you want and what Richie's built without having to overpay. We've got 3 first-rounders. I think maybe both of us, I know I was shocked we still have 3 first-rounders. I thought that Iasenza one was going to be moved for a goal scorer. We have 3 of them at the draft. Whether we have 3 of them
probably not
in uniform after the draft, I don't know, as prospects, but you got to believe that maybe, like he said on his live, he's got 3 that can help him build at the draft. So he didn't overpay. We've got first in all 3 years. The trade deadline again, you had said this year's trade deadline is don't piss me off. That's the theme of the deadline, and I don't think they pissed you off.
Nope. I'm a happy clam. I'm happy as a clam. I'm happy as a clam. There was no heart attacks, no near heart attacks. I was, when I
think the only shock was Iasenza,
and that wasn't even. It was a shock, but it was a good
shock. Or
that
we got a 1st-round pick back.
Right. I was kind of. It sucks to lose him.
Yeah.
But you love the return.
Yep.
And it's so that didn't annoy me. And Darcy, well, I mean, besides having the nicest eyes in the league, I mean, there's really that there's it's a loss, but it's not a painful loss. And then you bring it in experience that's just going to help you down the road. And
I think that was the biggest thing was bringing in experience.
Nothing wrong with how this, there was no.
No, there was
nothing,
they added where they needed to add in depth and experience. They kept the goaltenders together. I will not lie, when it got to near the end of Friday, when I was getting ready to come home to do some of the trade deadline, like, what are we going to have? I was like, oh, God, Blackburn's still out there. 20-year-olds are still out there. I'm just like, please don't. And they didn't, and I'm okay with it for the second half. I'm okay with the group, those same 2 goalies coming in next year.
Yeah.
Like, if
will those 2 goalies still be back next year is another question.
Yeah, but if they choose to be, then I'm really okay with, because you want goalies to have consistency together, like we talked about with the Shawinigan thing. And if they're playing this year together, they're playing next year together, they're pushing each other, and you don't have to give up assets to get goaltenders. And these are 2 goaltenders. They play well together. They're going to alternate. Here we go. You can focus on the forwards and the defense and finding a LaBelle replacement and a Barbashev replacement. You can focus your assets elsewhere instead of in the net.
Yep, 100%.
All right, you ready for everyone's favorite part of the show?
Sure.
All right.
Eric Murray, Realtor. Buy your house from him. Stick Tap of the Week.
All right, folks. Whip off the belt and undo your pants. It's Burgerfest, baby.
That may be the best intro I've heard in a while.
Well, I've had it lined up. I practiced it on the way here, and I think that's the first time I actually said Burgerfest.
Yeah.
Because every time I was practicing it in the car, I said Beerfest.
Oh, well done.
No, it's back. It is back. It kicks off on Friday the 13th. No.
Yeah, Friday the 13th.
Oh my goodness. Friday the 13th. I believe until Friday the 28th. Something like 40 restaurants this year.
Yeah, I love 'em.
They, there's some that I wouldn't put 10 feet close to my mouth. There's also some that I would shove into my mouth. And that seems to be a recurring occurrence every year, is that there was always some that look extremely good. There's also some that look very bad. I'm also going to share a very unpopular food opinion. There's nothing better than a crispy chicken burger. Like, I don't like beef burgers. A crispy chicken burger is what I need. I think I saw one. So that will definitely be one of the ones that I try. I forget where it's from.
Taking Avery to this thing now that she's crushing Big Macs?
Well, that's it, man. I gotta get her into this next level burger business here. I will say next week I think we should try to get one in us.
Possible.
I
possible.
shared the one from the.
The problem is I got a palate of an 8-year-old. I don't like vegetables and lettuce and all the weird stuff. So I'll have to look through them and find.
Come on.
I'll have to find one that's really good. Actually, I think I had the Barberchef one last year. It was really good.
The one I sent you from the Route 6.
Yeah.
It's got like a burger. It's like a beef burger.
Yeah.
Then it's got like a
Pulled pork on it.
Not even. It's ribs. It's a
ribs?
boneless rib, like a McRib.
Oh, I thought you said it was. I thought it was like.
I think it said a barbecue pork rib with the bones pulled out, and it's got like a Q-tip, like a long stick in the middle with like 2 chicken wings on it, and I think we could probably crush that one. And there's some good looking burgers. Like I said, there's also some that do not look appetizing whatsoever. So yeah, I'm super stoked for this one. Last year, I don't think I participated. Yeah,
no,
I don't, because I was, there was financial difficulties, of course, after Christmas. It always is. But
well, and last year you had to go get it and eat it at home, and it was like
there was no dining, because that's COVID.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Big Dog's Barbecue.
Yeah.
Beef patty, bacon, smoky bacon brat, cheddar cheese, smoky mustard.
Man, there's some heart attacks on a plate here, man.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, the one from Route 6 looks quite good and sounds good and all that
haddock.
and all that stuff. Yeah, the fish burger. Get the hell off with the fish burgers. It's so stupid. What are you doing a fish burger for? It's not McDonald's. Go get yourself a fillet of fish any day of the week.
Yeah,
don't throw a fish burger in with a Burger Fest. But no, I've been super excited for this one. I've known about it for about a month. I'm like, just please.
You've been waiting to come on the show.
I have. I've been waiting to come back on on the show just to talk about it. I'm trying to remember which one it was that has a chicken burger, but it's almost like a buffalo chicken.
Meza Lebanese.
Is it Meza?
Made with signature rotisserie slimly sized chicken.
It literally was like a chicken breast.
Oh,
like a legit like chicken burger. It was like soaked in buffalo sauce and had like blue cheese dressing on it, and I forget who it was, but it looked really good. But yeah, that's my unpopular food opinion, is that crispy chicken burgers are better than beef burgers. Don't at me. That's just how I feel. But no, I couldn't be more excited. I'm going to try to get at least 5 into me in 2 weeks and see how I feel.
I'm going to try and get 1.
Yeah. Your only one will be next Monday night when we record the episode and then come and critique it together.
Well, and I mean, if you're going somewhere, let me know, because Layla's gone for the
that's true.
The week she's back to Europe for previous stuff, so she's gone for the week. So if we're going places, I mean,
I will let you know. But no, there's I'll have to go through the list again, unless I was just imagining things.
So pumped to find a chicken burger. You're like, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, Meza had the only chicken one that I found, and I've gone through a few of them.
Interesting. So. Okay, maybe I was just seeing things, but
all right.
Still, my unpopular food opinion is that crispy chicken burgers are better than beef burgers. But there we go. That's what the old Stick Tap is. Again, I know these restaurants. Most of these restaurants probably had a nice boost because of the World Juniors, and I think they kind of, there's some that are in parts of town that didn't see the economic spin-off from the World Juniors. I'm talking like, Kelsey's, the Big Stop didn't get that sort of business, and the Sports Rock on Mountain Road I know wasn't very busy because I drive by it every day, but the Sports Rock in Dieppe was, full. Yeah. Because it's still, it's close to downtown. You can get to downtown Moncton in like 20 minutes from there walking. So, there's some restaurants here that need that extra. Yeah, what the hell Pita Pit doing in the Burger Fest? Get the hell out of here, Pita Pit. Like what's Pita Pit doing in Burger Fest? Like
it's a steak and bacon pita dream. that's not.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, no. And what's the other one?
Gluten free.
Gluten free. Like,
look, if I want a heart attack, I don't want a gluten free.
Exactly.
Heart attack.
If I want to have if I want to end up in ICU, I don't want to be there because I had a gluten free burger.
Yeah.
I want to be there because I had like 8 slices of bacon or something. It's
The A Cajun burger from Kelsey's Roadhouse.
Yes, that is another one I was.
Massive double patty topped with hand battered Cajun shrimp, honey glazed,
yes.
double smoked bacon.
The shrimp is a little.
Jalapenos, get out of there.
Jalapenos. Those
2 types of cheese. Oh, not bad.
My mouth is watering.
Yeah.
But no, let's. This is another huge opportunity to help businesses recover. They really need it.
Yep.
There's restaurants in here that. Screw off, Pita Pit. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing a burger? You're not even. It's not even a burger. It's a damn pita. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And there's another restaurant that shouldn't even be in there. The gluten-free one is another one we talked about.
Gluten-free.
Ed Subs. What's Ed Subs doing in Burger Fest? Is it even on a burger?
Oh, that's sub bun. So.
Sub bun. Get out of town. Like, what are you doing?
Hey, they're just trying. At least they're there, right? Like
they're
giving
making an
options
effort.
to
I'm not
everyone.
going to try it.
No, you're not going to try it. But you know what? There may be somebody that is.
I can make
gluten-free.
something more appetizing than that.
All right, you good?
Yeah, whatever.
All right.
The Stick Tap of the Week, sponsored by Eric Murray Real Estate with the RE/MAX Avante team. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Greater Moncton or surrounding area, make sure to check him out on social media or give him a call at 506-863-8802.
One of the Sports Rocks.
Yeah.
It's like the bun is like a mini pizza, like a mini pepperoni. You know those mini pizzas?
Yeah.
Well, it's like a mini pepperoni pizza. So it's like a pizza
yeah.
burger, but your bun is a mini pizza, and you're eating a pizza burger. That one looks different.
Yeah.
If I would have done it upside down, where like not the pizza's up like this, but the pizza's down like this, so like the cheese and the pepperoni's on the burger.
For those wondering, just go to YouTube and watch that.
So like I think that's going to be my concern is that when you grab the burger, your hands are going to get greasy because you're basically grabbing onto cheese and pepperoni, or it should be upside down, or the crust, you're holding onto the crust, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my only critique of what their burger looks like. But pizza burger looks pretty good.
I think it's a Sports Rock Yep.
Yeah. Big Stop. What are you doing?
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, it's a mini pizza.
The all right Frankie 1 bite.
1 bite burger.
Yep. Good luck. All right, that brings us to the Wildcat of the Week, presented by Rosemary Lynn Massage and Spa. Are you tired from Christmas? Are you in pain from putting stuff away? Maybe you fell when you were taking down the lights, or are you just in need of a relaxing massage? They have a few different types: the normal massage, the deep tissue massage, cupping massage, relaxation, and the TMG treatments. Let them help you out. Give them a call at 506-830-1224 to book, or go to 1224 Mountain Road to book that. Your Wildcat Player of the Week that is having a heck of a run. He's now got a league-leading 9-game goal streak going. He's got 11 goals in those 9 games, 1 assist for 12 points. And like I've said a couple times, and like I said a few minutes ago, the best trades are the ones you don't make, and I think this is one of the better ones down the stretch. So your Wildcat of the Week is number 49, Max Barbashev. That'll do it for us. A little bit of a longer episode because we're talking trades in second half. But look, I'm so happy to be back. And I want to thank everybody who listens week after week, has supported us and supported me since the start of the show from an outsider coming here. It means so much. We joke about being a worldwide podcast, but we have listeners in Switzerland, Austria. So it is, when Layla's in Europe, she'll be listening from different countries to make us even more worldwide. So thank you for being here for all 200 episodes as well. Thanks to Chris for helping grow the show in his, I guess year 3 it would have been. And to you, sir, for being here week after week, making this show what it is. Quebec tonight, If you don't have tickets, get them. It's going to be a big one. Bathurst on Friday. We will be back next week. You guys have a wonderful week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast Podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.
Like, Peter Pitt, come on. Am I